This is the first time I've ever doubted Mario.
I've never been so depressed watching my team win 41-7. So I was like, man, we're actually good. And it's going to go nowhere. We need so many things to happen. Santa Claus can't even deliver those gifts. I was out here rooting for the Gators last night, dude. I feel disgusting.
Popular Kane opinion to like make fun of gimmicky offenses like Gus Malzahn's, but I guess Shannon Dawson knows it's the only way he can generate anything.
It's just insane how you guys find a way to throw in a compliment to Florida State after the ridiculous toilet bowl of the season you're having.
What is your belief long-term in Mario Cristobal?
Well, I think he does everything right except for once the ball's kicked off. And it's like in a vacuum where like the pressure's really on, like you just can't trust him.
I just don't want to be in the basement anymore. It's cold and it's dark down here and it sucks.
He's a Memphis coach turned into a Florida State head coach. He was never right for that job, and now you're realizing it.
Right, and he did more than Mario's ever done in the ACC.
Welcome to the show. Miami beats NC State big 41-7, and Florida State beats Virginia Tech big 34-14. We got topics today. We have a Miami panel of Mark and Rolly. Boys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Christian.
Good to be here. Thanks for inviting me today. Appreciate it.
Good weekend to be here.
And Anthony and Jordan on the FSU side. Boys, welcome to the show.
Good to be back.
Go Noles.
No resident Gators today.
No.
We figure we don't need to hear from them for the rest of the year.
For those that don't know, this is a fan debate show. We bring on fans of Florida, Miami, Florida State every week to debate what's going on between the programs, and we try to post a show every Sunday during the college football season. If it's entertaining for you to watch fans go at it in this forum, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. So with that, let's jump into it. Miami beat NC State big yesterday. Rolly, I know you were at the game, 41-7. So going into the game, FPI gave Miami a chance of about 14% to make the playoffs. After the game, it dropped to 11%. So we'll start with you, Rolly. Does Mario need to make the playoffs for this to be considered a successful season? And if they fail to make the playoffs, how big of a disappointment on a scale of 1 to 10 would it be for you as a Miami fan?
I think that's the biggest thing, Christian, like that it is a failure in the sense if you have to answer one failure or success, like it would be a failure just because of this roster build. I mean, this is definitely the most talented roster we've had in, I believe, 20 years. Well coached overhaul, but just NFL talent on both sides of the ball. And it would be a failure. It really would be. But at the same time, I mean, you definitely see steps that this team is making, closing out the year. I mean, we never have a win like that in November. A complete win, a win that the defense and the offense had plenty of good moments. And honestly, that defense is championship level. So it would be a failure kind of in the same sense that it was a failure last year that we couldn't get that offense into the playoff. I kind of look at it the same way if we can't get this defense into the playoff, even with the 10-2, but unfortunately we need a lot of help. So, I'm very curious to see what comes out of the rankings on Tuesday, see where they put us in that sense. But it is refreshing to see a team really have a complete game in November. And, I came out of that game really positive.
And Rolly, you and I talked on the phone, I think it was after the week after the SMU game, and you told me straight up, look, my confidence in Mario is falling a little bit. I was very high on Mario going into the year and throughout the tenure, what he was building. And there's been cracks in your belief in Mario. So just in terms of your belief in Mario long-term, that he can bring the U back, what would you put that on a scale of 1 to 10 right now?
Right. I mean, considering everything, especially the SMU game, I would probably put it at a 7. Obviously I'm extremely confident in him, to bring the Joes, obviously, to stack the talent, stack the recruiting classes. But after that SMU game, a lot of our conversation, Christian, stemmed on my doubt initially. This is the first time I've ever doubted Mario. I'm a Columbus guy. I'm a UM guy, obviously. So I want Mario to be the guy, just frankly. I just want him to be the guy to bring UM back. But I did see a lot of things, and we started seeing the cracks second quarter of that Florida State game in just the systemic nature of how Mario coaches. It's not necessarily obviously you can go down to the play calling and everything, but it's just the philosophy of, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And I feel like that was just creeping in way too much. And, thankfully over the last 6 quarters, I think we've definitely seen some adjustment, and Mario kind of letting Shannon, have free reign a little bit more, and further along, letting Carson have free reign. And I think that's played out pretty well. And it's nice to see that starting and that adjustment towards the end of the year. It's not something we've seen in the past. So, we definitely need some more data points to know that it's more of an actual trend that's going to be persistent moving forward into the future years of Mario regime. But, right now it's nice to see the last 6 quarters and the adjustments that have been made, for sure.
If I could jump in, I think one of the biggest things I've seen, especially this past game, but I think maybe the past couple games, the last 2 wins at least, is Shannon Dawson, or
Creativity, man.
whoever's behind it, but getting creative. I know it was a popular Kane opinion to like make fun of gimmicky offenses like Gus Malzahn's, but I guess Shannon Dawson knows it's the only way he can generate anything. So I love seeing that he's not crippling his offense with the running up the middle every play. He's getting creative. I like to see that.
It's just insane how you guys find a way to throw in a compliment to Florida State after the ridiculous toilet bowl of the season you're having, and it's just it's insane how you do that.
You won't get that from me.
No, it's not a compliment. It's not a compliment to FSU. It's just funny, like the double standard. Like Miami loves to.
You find a way to compliment Gus Malzahn while insulting Shannon Dawson, saying that he's doing.
No, it was
Gus
backhanded.
Malzahn
it was
things.
backhanded.
Come on, Jordan.
It was. I felt it over here.
We're
But
finding creative ways to get our playmakers the ball, and I think it's so.
I think a lot of that comes also from the fact that in the beginning of the season when we're winning games, right, hadn't dropped the game to Louisville, and then definitely hadn't dropped the game to SMU yet. There was this whole idea of just handle business and we'll get there in the end, right? But now you're looking at scenarios where there's going to be a bunch of 2-loss teams that even if we handle business, we're still probably not going to get in. So it's all right, what are we going to show the committee? What are we going to show these guys to be well, they got a really good defense. Let's see some flash on offense, and maybe it's worth throwing them in over someone with the same record. So I think that plays into it a little bit,
for sure.
And trust me, I think it's frustrating, right, to go down into the red zone and have to be, flea flickers here and there, reverse passes,
Malachi throwing or Malachi faking the throw.
I would love to get into the 10 and just go right into the end zone, but I mean that's just kind of the nature of the beast of where we are now.
I was texting Mark yesterday. Because he was at the game, and a friend of ours took a picture of Mark, and he looked super bored. And he was like, yeah, dominating NC State gets really boring. But the offense had done nothing at that point. And I'm like, yeah, it's. I'm sure that offense is really getting you out of your seat. And as I text him, that's when Carson Beck hits Malachi Tony. Yeah, in the end zone. But I'd be frustrated to watch that offense struggle to get on its feet week after week. It's the second game in a row that a defensive score has really sparked you guys and got you going, right? You had the Keontae Scott pick six against Syracuse, and then this week you have the big pick six with Jacoby Thomas, who's amazing, by the way, unfortunately. But it's some weird spark, and then you guys finally let Carson start throwing it around, kind of like you did with Syracuse too. And if I said it last week, I'll say it again: if you pay that guy $4 million, let him throw the fucking football.
100%.
That's why he's here,
and he's good at it. I mean, yeah, he throws picks, but dude, the stats speak for themselves.
Yeah, man. When he's efficient like that and he's reading quick, it's always a positive game for him, and that's what he did yesterday. So it was nice. It was nice to see.
I want to get your take, Mark, because this is your first time on the show. A lot of us have talked about the SMU loss and the Louisville loss, but from your perspective, who do you put the blame on for those games? And yeah, obviously you could say everybody, but who would you put the majority on the blame for those two huge losses that could keep them out of the playoff?
Yeah, and I actually ultimately think they will keep us out of the playoff, but I think there was almost this focus, right, leading up to the Louisville game. There was this focus of don't buy into the rat poison, right? And just talking about not buying into the rat poison led to just this seeping in of the rat poison. Because what happened is
it's true.
And I think it started the second half of the FSU game, right? They were like, all right, we're just going to run the ball up the middle. We're going to dominate on the line. We're going to kind of just like play this slow game because a W is a W at the end of the day. We're going to play this slow game. We're just going to bully people until they give up, right? But then what happens against a coach like Brom, right? He comes in, he throws some flash at you, he jumps out ahead of you. And then when your offense, that same, systemic thing of like slow and steady wins the race isn't working, then they jump out ahead of you 21-0.
Do you think? Do you think it was arrogance of like we're more talented than you, Louisville and SMU, and we think that us just running the same thing, we're going to run it, but we're going to be arrogant about it? Do you think it was that, or do you think it was they just weren't prepared to make adjustments?
Probably a little bit of both. And I don't even know if I would consider it arrogance. It's like more of like ignorance, right? Because it's like, yeah, like, oh, we don't need to switch up for anybody. Sure, cool, but as soon as this doesn't work, like, come on, guys. Like, you have a super creative offensive coordinator. Obviously, we've seen that. These are plays that you're seeing now that they obviously didn't just like come up with from one day to the next. So they've been running these and practicing them since the summer, since last spring. Like, mix it up. You know what I mean? You're going down big in the Louisville game specifically. Like, you can't let teams like that jump ahead of you, especially when their gimmicks are working, right? The hurry up offense. So we start off, boom, we go up a big score, a couple missed tackles, this, that, and the other, and then we're going to go hurry up, change the pace of the game on you, get the DNs tired, and we're going to go up again 14-0. And then it's like we're just here still like, oh, we want to burn clock. Like,
yeah,
dude, college football is not a burning clock kind of game. Like, you gotta go and score every time.
And there's some Miami fans have told me that the team goes into this shell and they describe it as the Mario Cristobal shell, where it's like the offense is opening up and then he wants to constrict it into like a lot of A-gap runs, a lot of conservative play calling. So it sounds like you're putting a lot of the blame on Mario Cristobal ultimately for that, or do you think it's this is Shannon Dawson's offense, this is just who Shannon Dawson is, it's not as much a blame on Mario?
Or Carson
I think
Beck.
it's a combo. Dude, at the end of the day, if you're calling the plays, like, just call some better plays, right? Like, oh, the A-gap's not working. These like dive runs aren't working. Like, let's mix it up. But then I think also, because it's not just on the coaching staff, that going back to like, oh, why do we lose these games? I think for a guy like Carson Beck, when it's working, it's like when he's on, right? Like literally yesterday, 21 of 28 or something like that, 21 of 27, 290 yards, a touchdown, like no mistakes really. But then when he starts off and it's not working, he kind of like curls into a ball on himself, right? It's like he shells up, in my opinion. Like, he goes from, oh, we're rolling, whatever. If it's not working for him, he's like, I don't want to make a mistake. I want to, play like this or play like that. And he ends up making more mistakes that way. So I think it's a little bit of a combination of the two.
Jordan, Anthony, I want to get your guys' take as Florida State fans. Like, you obviously live in Miami, you follow the Miami program, about the talent of this year's roster, and that that they're obviously underachieving this year. When you look at it from your perspective, do you put the blame on Mario, or how do you see the reasons why they're underachieving this year?
And I don't know if you want to go.
Yeah.
It's a loaded question, by the way, but go ahead.
It's also automatic assumption that we're underachieving. I mean, I would say in this
roster,
roster,
10-2 before the season started.
Like the majority of people had us at 10-2. So
yeah,
well,
I think
really
so
underachieving.
all right. So wait, let's go back then, because all the Miami fans told me before the season the goal this year is to make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, it's a failure of a season. So, and obviously that's this season, but the standard at Miami, and when they say the U is back, to me what that means is Miami back to competing for national titles? And obviously this is year 4, so you would think that like he's getting the program closer to that. So
you would think Mike is doing it in year 6 at Florida State, but he's
rent-free.
still trying to creep for goddamn bowl games. Me rent-free. You guys have been talking about the University of Miami program for the last 3
we were
weeks
talking about that
1,000 times more. Like, you guys
we're gonna
just
get to Mike
avoid.
next.
I think part of that goes. Yeah, I think part of that goes back to your first question. You're like, oh, is this year a failure if we don't make the playoff? Well, I mean, asking that question right now is different than asking that question at the beginning of the season, because, we could win the rest of our games and put ourselves in a position to make it, but we still probably won't. But then at the end of the day,
whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
Dude,
That doesn't
honestly,
make it any
you should
less
never
disappointing.
You should never lose games where you're a double-digit favorite. But at the end of the day, it's kind of crazy where everybody's talking about like college football has all this parity. Anybody could win any Saturday, but then you have a team who might go 10-2 and be like, yeah, no, they're not getting in. What, we have to be perfect in order to get in?
Yeah. The
In the
goalposts are
ACC.
different from Miami.
But
I mean,
so Mark, what is your definition of success for the season then?
that's a hard question to answer.
So that
'cause,
No,
we have
it
to be
shouldn't
clear on that
change
first
now.
before we talk
Yeah.
about the other things.
I mean,
No,
look,
a
before,
playoff appearance was definitely the goal coming into the
yeah,
year. I mean,
I'll say this. I already think that the season is stained. Whether it's a failure or not, there's a big stain on it because, like, yes, we got closer to where we want to be, in the first 5 games of the season, showing like we can dominate good teams, right? It wasn't that Notre Dame was a bad team and now all of a sudden they're a good team. No, we just dominated them, right? Especially on the defensive line and stuff like that and our offensive line. So I think like that window, sure, we're a lot closer to being a national championship contender. But then it was like we kind of just like we're like, all right, cool. We showed what we could do. Now we just got to coast. And then that's where you drop the ball. That's when we take 2 steps forward and 5 steps back. So while I do think as a whole, as a program, we are closer, I just don't think we'll ever get there unless we just hit the baseline stuff, which is like beating teams that you're a double-digit favorite.
Sounds like they agree, Christian, that they're underperforming a little bit after that
All
5-minute
so
fight
okay,
about
so
it.
now that we're clear that if they miss the playoffs, it's underperforming, and you're saying you're using the words ever and talking about that, Mark. So what is your belief long term in Mario Cristobal that he's the right guy to get it done and bring the U back?
Well, I think he does everything right except for once the ball's kicked off. And it's not necessarily that he does like a lot of things wrong. It's like in a vacuum where like the pressure's really on, like you just can't trust him. Is he going to make the right call 85% of the time? Yes, but it's in those like 15% where it's like so important, right? Like bad timeout calls against SMU, like bad decisions, like to either go for it on 4th down against Louisville, like just like it's almost like, yeah, I've done everything right up until this point, and when the final exam is in front of him, you just like, bleh, kind of thing. It's
So
it's hard
on
to
a
watch.
scale of 1 to 10, what's your belief in Mario Cristobal long term?
I would say a 9, right? And the only reason why it's not a 10 is because of that 15%. So I would still say a 9. Like,
Okay.
dude, great recruiter. He's good at building culture, right? Like the team has the right mentality coming in every week. It's like if he could get that little, like go to a coaching clinic or something. I don't know, like take a notepad somewhere and write some stuff down, take some notes. Cause like if you can just get over that little hump, I mean, the guy's perfect for the job. There's nothing else to it.
If I could jump in, I want to get like the Canes fans' perspective on like something that I've been observing, and like so basically, I feel like Carson Beck is not getting enough responsibility in this whole thing. Like, yes, the buck stops with the head coach and Mario Cristobal because he assembles the team and he's in charge of everybody's responsibilities, right? But like, do you guys feel and do you see Carson Beck with his body language being way too high or way too low? Because that's how I feel like this whole season is ridden on. When Carson Beck is having fun and laughing and celebrating out there and having a good time with his guys, like he's just dialed in. And like that's when goes back to his time at Georgia. Like when they're out muscling teams and they're playing ahead and stuff, he just had these amazing performances. And then when they faced adversity last year, he didn't look as sharp. And that's kind of what we've seen this year is there's been moments in games in the 2 losses, but also in the Stanford game where they started off slow, where it's like he's not even there. He's like disengaged and nothing's flowing. And it's like and I think that trickles throughout the team. And I put a lot of the responsibility on that for Miami's ups and downs this year, because like when he's disengaged, it's like they need something good to happen to catch a good break, to defensive turnover, a good penalty, a big play or something. And then he's like, oh, now I can enter the game and like start playing. But I feel like that is the thing that would lead me to be the most concerned of just, the rest of this season is, man, like, and
I
I
agree.
think Dawson's done a good job unlocking him a little bit with this creativity, because you could tell he's having more fun. Like, even on some of these trick plays, even if it doesn't hit for an explosive touchdown, if it's like a 10-yard pass or something, like you could see he's, mucking it up with the guys, laughing, having fun. And then that's when Carson Beck is scary, but it's just too many ups and downs in the body language.
So I think you kind of just hit the nail on the head, right? Because you're like, Dawson opens it up for him a little bit and then he starts rolling. If you can see that and I can see that, the coaching staff should be able to see that. So, like, yeah, kind of back to what I was going, right? Like, when we're starting off games and being like, all right, we want a 15-minute drive to start the game and it's not working. And then you try to do that again in the second drive and it's not working. Then everyone's kind of just like stuck in the mud, right? The confidence starts to get lower. So, like, maybe doing some of those things, like you said, right off the jump, which I think we did yesterday. In yesterday's game, we opened up, throwing the ball downfield, a little bit of trickery in terms of the routes and stuff like that. And the dude was just confident from the jump. So I think if you could see that and I could see that, the coaching staff should see that. So yeah, well, I've put some of the blame on Carson 100% because, like, you're the leader of the team on the field, right? You're not the coach, but you're the leader of the guys on the field. Like, if you start putting your head down and, like, kind of throwing your hands up, like, everybody's going to be doing that. But I think the coaches then have the responsibility of being like, how can we channel this? How can we aim this missile the right way? So I think it's a little bit of a double-edged sword.
I think it's an entire offense thing, honestly, though, Jordan, just to piggyback off that a little bit. Like, I don't think it's just a Carson thing. I think it's the entire offense can get tight, especially in the beginning of games if things aren't going well. And Carson, especially, of course, like, something bad will happen. Like, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a pick. It could be a big drop on a 3rd and 7 to JoJo in, that game last week. Something kills the drive. And if Carson isn't getting flowing, then obviously the entire offense isn't getting flowing, and they just play tight until something big happens. And earlier you alluded to it, definitely the Jacoby pick six sparked everything yesterday, 100% to get the offense moving. Last week, I don't think it was definitely, Keontae helped, but I actually think it was that Dalen Upshaw tunnel screen, that 41-yarder. And after that, they just kind of like unlocked. They just stopped playing tight. And they're like, oh, we have playmakers all over the field.
Oh,
we
we're
have talent
actually
all
good.
over the field. We're really good. It's like they doubt themselves until something good happens, and then they're like, all right, let's just keep doing this and we're gonna roll. But yesterday it was nice to see them honestly start a lot earlier, just from the creativity. And yeah, things happen, adversity is gonna happen, drops are gonna happen, penalties are gonna happen, but it's how you respond. And I think yesterday was definitely the most complete game on the offensive side, and it was nice to see.
I've never been so depressed watching my team win 41-7. So I was like, man, we're actually good and it's gonna go nowhere.
I don't know about that, though.
If we look like that for 3 straight weeks, there's a really good chance, man. It's just we still need a lot of help, and
we need so many things to happen. We need Santa Claus can't even deliver those gifts.
Yeah.
Why is Utah still being discussed? I don't get that one. Like, that one is the personal one that really pisses me off. I don't think they should be in the discussion at all. But the fact that they're going to be over us is insane. Now, Bama,
I was out
you
here
have a
rooting
common
for the
opponent.
Gators last night, dude.
Same record.
Feels
Yeah,
disgusting.
dude. It's insane.
Anthony, you were going to say something?
Yeah. Usually the Hurricanes' losses come at like a worse time. If they don't drop another, I think their losses came at the right time, because when you do it and it's the last thing that the committee remembers, like the Syracuse one late last year, they're like, fuck these losers, right? Like, it's fine. But you guys drop those 2, now you come back, and like, NC State's not good, right? But everyone kind of respects them a little bit, because like, if you fuck around, like, they'll beat you. So beating them 41-7 is not nothing. So I think the committee told you, hey, we want to see a bit more from you. And you're kind of doing that now, which worries me, because after the SMU game, I was like, yeah, see ya. See you at the fucking Pop-Tart Bowl. But now I think that you might have a chance to actually get in. But I think it's a year where the ACC is only going to get one team. So I don't know. Like, if you don't make it to Charlotte, I think it's going to be a really hard time. And obviously,
we got to be
a lot of
10.
things to
if
break,
we don't make
right?
it to Charlotte, we have to be
if we
ranked
don't
in the
make it
top
to
10.
Yeah.
And like, I know you guys were in the last graphic, but
Yeah,
You
it
know,
was
that's
an
because you're the
assumption.
highest ranked ACC team at the
Yeah,
time.
Right.
That's
They're like, oh,
assuming that
they're
you
going to
get
win
to
the
Charlotte.
ACC.
Exactly. But, you know, with the way that's going to shake out, I don't think you're going to play in Charlotte. Georgia Tech squeaking that one out last night, I think kind of really solidified that. Virginia's got an easy path. It looks like those two are going to be there, which is hilarious that those are the teams playing in
Dude,
the
Georgia
ACC
Tech's trying
title
to
game.
lose every game they can.
Yeah,
They're
man.
Yeah, it's
trying so
unbelievable.
They
hard
just
to lose.
find a way at the end. It's frustrating.
But I think, Anthony, going back to like what you were saying, it's like, sure, it's not the worst time to lose your games, but it's definitely not the best time either. Because, like, look at Notre Dame, right? Like, they lose the first 2 games of the season, and now they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is one of the best teams in the country, right? They had 2 good losses, right? It's not about the wins. It's like, how bad are your losses more so. It's like, so yeah, we didn't lose at the worst time possible, meaning like the last 2 games of the season to drop us out. But it's like after building so much momentum, and then they're seeing like, all right, the rest of the road is easy to drop 2 in that rest of the road. They're like, yeah, these guys might not be that good.
It's
It's
so
like what the
funny, too,
committee
because
said.
I feel like Notre Dame gets more credit for losing to Miami than Miami gets credit for beating Notre Dame.
100%.
Which is just like the most
100%.
committee
100%. It's not
shit
about
ever.
who you beat, it's how bad your losses are, it seems like. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, had we lost to Notre Dame, but then beat everybody else by 30, like, where would we be sitting in comparison? I don't know. It's kind of frustrating to see.
So I want to move to the FSU coaching situation. Obviously, I've talked to you, Jordan, Anthony, about Mike Norvell. You guys have made
He's
your
staying.
thoughts known that you guys are out on Norvell, so you support the administration going ahead and fire him, even if he wins out, finishes 7-5. If
Don't care.
does win a bowl game 8-5, you guys still want him out. So yesterday, Brett McMurphy tweeted. Basically Virginia Tech and James Franklin are in talks, but Franklin's like, yo, wait, I'm going to wait on FSU. So I want to get your guys' takes on, you know, assuming Mike does get let go, how do you feel about Frank coming to Florida State? And then also, like, out of realistic candidates that fit the job, that are realistic, who would you want the administration to hire?
The last time we had a coach with the initials JF, we won the national championship.
Oh my God.
Just like our
Oh
Heisman
my
Trophy
God.
quarterbacks all having W last names. Give me a JF head coach.
Yes, I
I said it every time I've been asked this question. I love to make fun of James Franklin for the last 10 years, but give me that guy. I'm so beat to shit with what Mike has done to us for the last 6 years that I want someone who's going to raise my floor. I don't care about the ceiling right now. Like, I just want to roll into a game against Wake Forest or Virginia Tech and be like really confident. And that's such a shitty place to be. And I think that
But
James
you know
yeah,
Franklin
kind of
will
like
get
how
us
Penn
there.
State rolled into UCLA and got steamrolled.
Bro, that's this year.
What,
That's
what I was
fine.
gonna say.
That's
Right.
fine. That's
this
fine.
Year,
But
this
look-
year, his floor was low. He lost to UCLA and Northwestern, both two of the worst teams in the Big Ten, with one of the most talented rosters in the country. He lost those.
I do
games.
agree. Most other years of his career, he doesn't lose games he's not supposed to lose. He just doesn't win the big one. But he doesn't really. Bro, that guy would run through the ACC. There's no way he's losing to
But he
Duke
loses to Miami
in
every time.
Virginia.
Like, he
Maybe
loses the big
only
one.
if Miami's
Well,
good.
maybe
'Cause then it's
not.
a
It's
big
just
game.
like, I don't think he'll. I don't know.
Wouldn't
Also,
you be
like-
tired of winning? Like, let's just say, I don't even think he would beat 9-3, 10-2 every year. But let's just say hypothetically he did. Wouldn't you be tired of that every year? Like
I'm not
missing the
more tired
playoffs?
of winning 9 games than I am of winning 2
Yeah,
and 4
100%.
and 5. Like, that is fucking exhausting.
And I think that's the most frustrating thing is like in this current era of the 12-team playoff and being in the ACC, it's like arguably more gettable than it ever has been, before. So it's like 9-3, you're in the conversation every single year, 10-2, like, so it's just like, I do agree
Except this
with
year.
with Anthony. Yeah, and you're in the conversation though, right? And
Yeah.
I just want to be in the conversation. Congrats to Miami. I brought the birthday candles to celebrate the rebirth of like the U being back, because now like we're believing we're believing again, because the program, we did a funeral like 2 weeks ago, but no, just being in the conversation, like there's no like this era currently, if you're a 9-win team, a 10-win team, you're in the conversation at least every year, and maybe one year compared to the other one, you get that extra win and you're in, you know what I'm saying? So I like Anthony's take. My personal take, like I probably do more due diligence myself, but like I really like the concept of a Glenn Schumann from Georgia, somebody who's got that experience being a coordinator in like big time football, big time recruiting, big time games. And I believe like in his career, he also was the director of football operations at a big time school. So like I would imagine, and especially with a lot of these, like the coaches now in college football that are looked at as like the best, you know, like the Kirby Smarts and the Dan Lannings and stuff, like those guys were, coordinators at big time teams that got their first time head coaching opportunity. So it's like, I'm almost leaning more that direction over a Frank, because we already kind of know what Franklin is, but I kind of like the excitement of Glenn Schumann. I think there's a couple other guys who kind of fit that mold, but that's probably
I
the direction I'd
100%
lean.
agree. I 100% agree. Because like, what do you think you're going to get out of James Franklin that you don't get out of Mike Norvell? Because it's not going to be recruiting. I mean, compare your recruiting classes to Penn State over the last 5 years. You're going to be surprised. There's not much difference. And then you got a guy coming into the state of Florida to try to recruit the state of Florida against teams who might have like a Lane Kiffin and a Mario Cristobal who like destroy the recruiting class.
I think it's probably harder for him to recruit the caliber of kids at Penn State. Like, sure, yeah, it's a great big power program, yes, but like it's a whole different recruiting base. I think if he's here, we're in the top 10 recruiting classes every year. What do I get with James Franklin? I don't get national embarrassments.
I just don't
the
think
time.
he's as cringe as like Mike Norvell, so that's a big plus.
Dude,
Also, you can't argue Franklin's like success and development then if he's not an elite recruiter, he's an elite developer, because the guy's put a ton of players in the NFL consistently.
I think that's his biggest thing, might be in the development of the players, because like he's got similar recruiting classes, I think, but he's pushing out first round talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball, corners, D linemen
for sure.
And maybe that's part of the area too that he recruits, like that Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, like all that area is known for like hard-nosed like defensive players, which is what he's getting. But obviously the development's there because those are guys that he recruited, right, to go there. So not a lot of portal guys.
And I also think he's hungry, man. Like I think he feels like punked by Penn State. Like this is a guy who was a game away from playing in the national championship last year, and now he's out and he's looking for a job. So I think you're going to have him come in so fired up and knowing what his reputation is, that he can't win the big one, that I think he's going to bring such a drive and focus to a program like Florida State, where again, we talked about it, he identifies players, right? Maybe they are lower ranked players, but I don't care if you're a 3-star or 5-star, as long as you ball out and you develop and you contribute to the program. So I think that's something he's shown that he can do, is identify and develop that talent. And I think you're giving him keys to a Ferrari as opposed to keys to like, I don't know,
Ferrari
like
that needs a lot of
work. What year Ferrari? What status of this Ferrari exactly?
It's a Ferrari that needs to be dusted off a little bit, but it's still a Ferrari, bro.
Yeah,
that thing's
just
good.
Needs cosmetic work.
That engine purge.
Ferrari on blocks, bro.
Broken suspension, engine block down, no carburetor.
Well, it's better than the Miami one that's a Ferrari, but you pop off that logo and it's actually just an Acura under there. But you know, it's
that boy's humming.
So
you see these freshmen in? Come on, bro. You know you're crazy.
I happen to believe the game theory example of with college football, like you hire who your rivals don't want you to hire, you keep who you rivals don't want you to keep, you fire who your rivals want you to keep, like do the opposite of what your rivals want. So I want to get what your take, Rolly and Mark, on if FSU did hire James Franklin, what will be your worry meter on a scale of 1 to 10?
Like overall longevity, as far as like comparing the two programs, I'd probably say like a 6 or 7. I do think he'll bring stability, which sounds like what Anthony wants. I definitely think he'll recruit pretty decently. I do agree with Mark in that, especially if Lane is in the state of Florida, like those are two dogs that he has to go against on the recruiting trail every time. And I don't see, those two losing a lot of battles to Franklin for the top guys necessarily. But I do think he'll put together some good classes, and he's obviously shown good development over the years at Penn State, and he'll bring stability. But, if exactly what Ant is saying, like it'll increase your floor, but
you wouldn't be too worried about it overall.
No.
All right, Mark, what about you?
I think I'd be more worried if FSU went Jordan's route and got like a badass coordinator from a huge program, just because like those guys have seen the systems that have worked, whether it's like from a Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, right? Like one of those guys, like one of those coordinators come in and is like, this is how you make a championship program. This is how we hit the recruiting trail, and this is how we fill in the pieces. Like, I think if that happens and it starts to work after a year like 2, then my worry, I'd be like on like a 7 or 8. But like just James Franklin coming in and being like, yeah, I'm here, just going to do the same thing I did at Penn State, I think I'd be more like a 5 or 6.
It's just because we know it. The Glenn Schumann brings some questions, but definitely some upside coming from the program that
I'm more scared of what I don't know. I agree.
Exactly.
And like, going Jordan's route, it's like one of these guys, like I'm here to prove it kind of guy. Like, sure, it has all the potential to like burn to the ground, but the ceiling is massive.
Yeah, it could also look like landing at Oregon.
That's what I was going to say. You're almost giving credit to someone for something they've never done, right? Like, I don't mind the Schumann idea, but you're like, yo, just because he did, like, he saw Kirby do it, like, he could do it. And I know that's worked in certain places, but it's also not worked in certain places. So again, I'm so shooketh from what has happened over the last couple years. Give me a commodity that I know.
Was a coordinator, right?
No, Mike was a head coach at Memphis.
But then wasn't he a coordinator before that?
Like at Arizona State or whatever.
Okay.
But bring me James Franklin. Like, I've seen you do it. I know you can do it. Don't give me a what if. We've done that, and it just hasn't worked. Give me a proven commodity. That is.
Would you rather a James Franklin or like a Joe Brady, for example?
No, give me something I know. Give me something I know. I know what my floor is, bro, and I just don't want to be in the basement anymore. It's cold and it's dark down here, and it sucks.
Yeah, you can stay there.
I don't know if Anthony would agree with me. I think he does. That the more important thing is that we just move on from Mike, and then whatever we do is going to end up being better. And I just want to make my stance clear. I still think that Mike has like all the makings of a great coach, and he did have success here. My opinion on why Mike needs to go isn't because he's a terrible coach. It's because the bridge has been so badly burned that, like, the name of the show is Fake Momentum. Like, college football, more than any other sport, and I think we can all agree, is a momentum-based sport.
Happened with Jimbo.
What happens in the off season, what happens like in season, like little tidbit of news and injury news, a recruiting win, like you just stack bricks with momentum. And Mike, I just feel is just gone past the point of like being able to overcome that. So I don't know if Anthony would agree, but I just think the most important thing is that we move on, to start with a clean slate, and then whatever it ends up being, like, you know me, I'm gonna come out here and tell my lies, regardless who it is. They can hire the biggest bum, and I'm gonna come out here strong, and that's it. But I'd be happy with the Franklin route or the coordinator route. But I just feel
if they win out and win a bowl game,
no,
is he fired?
It doesn't change.
I think
I'm
the
worried
biggest
that he's
problem
I know what
is-
the fans
I'm
want,
worried
but
that
the
he's not.
administration, given the buyout and the financial implications, if he wins a bowl
They
game
might hold on
and
to him.
ends with like a top 15 recruiting class, does he get fired? Probably not.
I'm worried that you're speaking our eventual reality.
I'm kind of speaking it into existence. Like, that's kind of what I want,
Yeah.
honestly.
Also, is this the year you want to be in the carousel? Like, y'all ain't even at the party
it's
yet.
not.
Yeah, I haven't even knocked on the door.
You're not
to
at the party. There's
go
a
into
lot
the
of
party.
programs already.
That's
Competing with some
my
big
problem
names.
with it. Is we're late to market. Like, that's my
Yeah.
biggest problem
Late
with
to
it.
the party, bro.
Is we're late to market unless you're doing some backdoor communication with James Franklin already. Like, then we're gonna be caught with our pants down. And I agree. Then fuck it, roll it out. Like, but like Jordan said, to me, it's about the stain that Mike has. The Marvin Wilson fiasco when he first gets the job, the Travis Hunter thing, the COVID year, getting called out by Dabo when we canceled the game because of COVID.
Be mad corny,
Bro,
like
2 and
stuff like
10.
that.
Dude, it's the way he
Just
talked to the
snub.
marching chiefs at the beginning of the year. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen that video, but it's so cringe. And I'm just, bro, like,
Yeah.
he's got to go, bro. Like, even if he's successful now, I'm always just going to think about this other stuff. And I think that it's our perception. Like, the program has suffered this. Dude, there's memes about us. There's jokes about us all the time. And, like, Florida is arguably a worse program over the last several years. But no one fucking jokes about them like they joke about us, you know? And it sucks.
And at least
Florida
they're at
probably
the
has
party.
more
They're getting
conference wins than
someone.
UConn.
Yeah.
So from the Miami fan perspective, what would you guys want to see happen that's better for Miami? Obviously, it sounds like you guys would want Norvell to stay for a long time.
Exactly what I said. 1,000%. I
'Cause
hope
they
he
know what
wins
he
out. I hope
is.
they win a bowl game. Yeah. I mean, he's a
Mark?
Memphis coach
Mark?
turned into Florida State head coach. He was never right for that job. And you guys know it. It's just that 13-0 and first to the party transfer portal class completely changed your judgment. And now you're realizing it.
Right. And he did more than Mario's ever done in the ACC.
Mario's built a program.
Preferably, you want the guy to stay, right? Obviously, but also like short term, right? Like they go a different route. Whoever comes in is gonna have to build the program. It's gonna take another year or two, and like we're kind of at the point right now where we could capitalize on that year or two to do what we need to do, right? Like if we can somehow make it to the dance in that time, like does it even matter at that point? Who cares about FSU?
One last quick thing about what Jordan said. I don't know if you guys saw the breaking news this week that the U.S. is not going to make new pennies anymore. And I saw this really interesting statistic about the life of the penny. And the penny witnessed a lot of history. It saw the first U.S. president. It saw multiple world wars. It saw September 11th.
I'm about to sign off.
It
Yeah,
never
like,
saw Miami win an
I know where
ACC
this is
He's
title.
been
going.
prepping this for like a week probably.
Yeah, dude. He's like, wait.
It never saw Miami win an ACC title. It witnessed all these historic events, but it never
It
saw
doesn't need to.
Miami
It doesn't
win an
need to.
ACC
All
title.
right, so
Yeah, it
here's the
doesn't.
debate. What's a worse thing to say to a Miami fan, that or the Taliban came back before the U? What do you think is a bigger troll?
I've never heard that one. I like that
I've never
one.
heard that one. I
Actually.
can't say I've heard that one either.
A lot
To
of
me,
things
the
came back.
Taliban one is the best one because the
I like
Taliban
that
was
one.
around when the Miami was
Mark, they
good,
go
and
looking for
then-
these things, man.
I know, bro. It's beautiful.
It just
Uh,
They're
look,
really
all right,
down
so,
bad.
look,
That's
I
that's
know-
how they entertain themselves.
I know we're up against the clock here. We're wrapping up soon, but like all in all, it's a beautiful. It at least helps from the Florida State perspective that even when we're down and like Miami looks to be everything that we fear that they could become, that they still find themselves in this position that they don't control their own destiny. I'm
Perfect
sorry.
window. Florida's down. Florida State's down.
Florida State is ass. Like, I'm not trying to even have that conversation. I'm just saying, like, Miami, man, like, I had so many legitimate fears early in this year. I kept saying I think they're the top roster in college football, and that still might be true. But when you make a guy the highest paid, like, player in the history of the sport, and they handcuff him, and he's a head case, and
It's like a
ups
3 or
and
4 year
downs.
history. So
Yeah,
I'm numb, dude. I'm numb
I-
to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hit me with what you got.
Half acre knew early in the season. Sorry,
Okay.
Daniel knew on the
Where do you
pod.
guys pull that from, that statistic about Carson? Because, like, have you guys seen what Darian Mensa's getting paid at Duke? Like, you guys just come up with this ridiculous thing.
Wait, are you saying he's not being paid $4 million? Are you saying
I'm
he's
saying
not
it's
being paid
probably
$4 million?
closer to 3.1 as actually reported by Canes fans and Canes
the
media.
same
But
thing,
Florida State seems to
3.14.
find these things that like make Miami sound dumbest, even though they're literally in the toilet bowl. They might be trapped in this freaking purgatory of Mike Norvell.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, so I know you guys got to jump.
Mark has to go, but I can stay.
I gotta go.
Okay.
Sorry,
All right,
guys.
Mark.
Thanks, Mark, for joining.
Thanks, Mark.
That's
Yo,
fun.
bring me back. I'm ready, but
All
like
right,
only if
no,
we
you
win
were
the next
great.
couple games.
Yeah, we gotta see what happens.
Yeah. You don't want me here in a week that we lose. Trust me, I'm gonna just it's gonna be bad.
No, you were great, man. We're really happy to have you. Thanks a lot for joining.
Thanks, Mark.
Appreciate
Later,
the time,
LT.
guys. Go
Peace.
Canes.
Later, brother.
I know you guys want Mike gone, but let's just say for this rapid fire, if Mike was to come back, should they try to apply for a waiver to bring Tommy Castellanos back if Mike and Gus are still back? Anthony, we'll start with you.
Yes. If Mike and Gus are back, bring Tommy back. I think I heard on the War Chant post game last night that that he's actually applied for the waiver already. So if Mike and Gus are back, bring Tommy back again, like get him more time in the offense. I think the big thing for him was that ankle, the explosiveness, but yeah, bring him back if they're back for sure.
Even with the missed throws, I mean, every game there's so many missed throws.
There's
Even
so
last
many
night,
missed throws.
Yeah.
And it goes to what Jordan said about Carson Beck too. Like the team goes like Tommy goes. When Tommy's running around and having fun and yelling at the crowd and smiling, that's when Tommy's at his best. But then you've got the Tommy against Clemson who's throwing 3-yard screen passes into the dirt and then throwing his hands and yelling at himself. And that's not good for Tommy. It's not good for the team as a whole. So yeah, I would take his deficiencies as a passer because when he is a healthy athlete, he's such a playmaker. And I think one more year in the system, I mean, roll it out, dude. Like, can't be worse than what we're doing right now. So if we're in the purgatory where Mike and Gus are back, roll it back. Fuck it.
Jordan, take on Tommy coming back?
100%. Like, he definitely has his flaws. Last night, watching the game, just, seeing a lot of what we've seen throughout the year, where it's like, it's very Deuce Robinson, dependent, where, like, I don't know, when he throws it to Deuce, it seems to be accurate, but when he throws it to anyone else, it's just like airmail. I don't know what he's seeing. Poor LaWayne McCoy and Squirrel White, like, so many times they've been open and just missed this year. So it's frustrating, but what are you going to do? Go out into the portal and pay somebody more than you're paying Tommy, or you're going to go with, most likely the freshman that's on the team now. So I say run it back.
Rolly, your take from a Miami fan perspective.
No, I agree that Tommy and Gus is like the perfect marriage. So if it is, bring the whole band back together, we'll be okay with it. As a Miami fan, I'll definitely be okay with that. Tommy has his limitations, but for your particular offensive system, for Gus's system, he's a good fit.
Okay, Rolly, want to stick with you. So Mendoza is currently the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. After losing out on John Mateer at Oklahoma, did Mario make a mistake bringing Beck over Mendoza?
No.
Yeah.
Again, ridiculous.
He did make a
mistake.
No? He didn't make a
Yeah,
mistake?
hindsight's 2020. It's so easy to answer that, Christian. But the kid wanted to play with his brother. Obviously, there was most likely a back channel conversation had. Obviously, Fernando's dad is good friends with Mario. I'm sure there was probably a conversation. He wanted to go to Indiana and play with his little brother. I don't fault the kid at all. And we got a great option, a 4-year veteran, experienced quarterback with a lot of wins under his belt. So no, I don't think at that time it was a mistake. No.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't think there's a team in college football that has like more losses per dollar spent. Like it's crazy. With like these last two rosters that Mario has been able to load up and just come up empty. Like, I don't understand.
Yo, like I don't want the end of the year, but I do want the end of the year, just so I don't have to like hear this type of crap for 9 months.
You're still gonna hear it.
I'm always gonna hear it.
You're still gonna hear it.
I'm always gonna hear it.
Doesn't
Like,
matter.
Ohio State and Texas are known for being the top spenders in college football, but like they're not, they made the playoffs last year.
So you think Jordan and Mario should have spent less money and gone after Mendoza in hindsight,
Or-
obviously.
I mean, let's just say even if they would have just gone with the backup who's currently on the roster, like they could have gotten similar production for like $3 million less. I mean, I probably like let's think about this business decision here.
All right. All right, so let's go.
Avery Williams.
Like, you guys are scraping for 7 wins, and
so,
man, it's what.
So-
Hey, but if you don't make the playoffs, like your 10 wins look
But
great,
maybe
bro.
we
But if
do
you don't
make the playoffs, Anthony. We don't know that yet.
Maybe.
Like,
But if you don't-
you really don't think that chaos could happen in the next 2 weeks, and we
No,
can
no,
roll
no.
just like we looked yesterday?
Yeah, like I said, I think that it's scary. I wish you had another loss later, and hopefully there's one coming against Pitt. But I'm saying if you don't make the playoffs, it doesn't matter if you have 4 wins or you got 10. You're gonna put those 10 wins in your fucking trophy cabinet and be like, hey, we got another pretty season.
Honestly,
like, it's okay.
It would be the first time we have back-to-back 10-win seasons in 20 years. So even though it's not the step we wanted, it is a step. We can't say that we're worse off last year than we were. We'll probably be in the same exact situation. But as a
so
program,
it's not a step.
as
It's
a
non-move.
program, it's definitely a step forward.
Okay. Okay.
Man, this has been 25 years of mediocrity,
Okay.
and that's half the fan base is feeling like maybe we need to reset our expectations. I'm not one of those. I do not want to reset my expectations. We should be a playoff team right now, and if we aren't, it's going to be a little bit of a failure of this roster, and I would hate it because we wasted a Ruben Bain Jr., we wasted a Francis Maunoa Jr., we wasted this amazingly talented defense with 11 transfer starters, but, I mean, we got to see. We got to see what happens.
Let me just put this on the record so I can get clips at the end of the season. We all know what's going to happen in that Pitt game, right? Like if Miami goes into that Pitt game
My God.
without a chance, they're going to blow the brakes off of Pitt. Like if Miami has no chance of making the playoff, they're going to beat the shit out of Pitt.
Look,
But if there's a chance, if there's a chance that they make the playoff, we know what's going to happen.
I said
hope
11-1
I'm
in the
using this
beginning
for
of the year
social
with the
media
Pitt.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know
hope
you're
I'm using
waiting
this
for
in 2
this,
weeks.
Anthony. I'm your favorite Clipper for these clips.
We okay. And Rolly, sticking with you, Miami has next 2 games on the road this week at Virginia Tech, and then next week, the following week at Pitt. What are your predictions for those 2 games? And then what's your prediction for does Miami make the playoffs or not?
I think we're going to handle Virginia Tech. I could see like a 38-10, 38-7, something like that. I really do think our defense has even hit another gear.
What's your prediction for the Pitt game? And then what's your prediction for does Miami make the playoffs or not?
I'm going to say for the Pitt game, I'm going to say 35-24. We win. Unless chaos happens, I don't feel right now that even with a 10-win season, I think they'll find a way to get Notre Dame in. I think there's too many teams ahead right now. I think that some of the results yesterday weren't in our favor, and the teams that we needed to lose yesterday kind of don't have, tough games coming up. And obviously, as Anthony was alluding to earlier, the ACC route, for sure got harder with Georgia Tech actually pulling off that win last night. So I don't know. We'll see. I think if the team plays like they did yesterday and has 10 wins, they're a playoff team. I just think in this era and the subjectivity and the fact that we have that SMU loss, I think it might still keep us out.
All right, Jordan and Ant, we all think they're going to beat Virginia Tech, but how does Miami beat Pitt, and then do they make the playoffs? We'll start with you, Jordan.
I would expect Miami to be favored by at least 10 and a half. But yeah, man, I think it depends on how much is on the line. Like if there's a legitimate chance for Miami, I just see them coming out like puckered up, and on top of that, the weather should be cold. A lot of it depends on what's on the line for Miami, because Miami will be favored by, at least, I would say at least 10 points. So they should win that game.
I don't know if you heard what Pat Narduzzi said going into the week.
Yeah.
He was like, do I want to win? Yeah, sure, I want to win, but like we can lose. I think he said I'd be happy to lose 114 to
nothing. Yeah.
like because it doesn't matter. So I think that they knew that they were overmatched, and they were kind of like selling that to the team a little bit. Like, hey, don't even worry about this. Like, let's focus on what's upcoming. So I think that's what happened there. Unfortunately, like I said, I think Miami's losses came at the right time. I think they've kind of shaken that out. I think that they're going to win their last 2 games, and I hope that they're on the outside of the playoff looking in, because that'd be so fucking funny. And I just think that the ACC only gets 1 team this year. A couple weeks ago, if you had like a bunch of 1-loss teams, SMU, Georgia Tech, Virginia, I think we might have gotten 2. With Miami still on the outside. But I think if they don't play in Charlotte, I don't see them getting in this year, and I don't see them ending up in Charlotte.
What do you guys think happens with the Pitt Georgia Tech game next week? Because
I think Georgia Tech gets it done.
Okay. But if Pitt, does beat Georgia Tech, they'd obviously be in the driver's seat. I think if we beat them, then Georgia Tech and Virginia, the matchup that it's looking like right now would be.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I mean, depending on what happens in the title game, Georgia Tech can win that. They could be an ACC champ with, 3 losses at that point, or 2 losses? It would be 2 losses.
2. And remember, SMU
and an
only has
ACC
1
championship.
ACC loss, too.
Yeah, but we'd have a common opponent win against Pitt. So there's just so much that could happen, so many different things, and we got to see, man. We got to see. And there's resumes that compare. Like Bama is a good comparison now. We could both be at 10-2. We have a common opponent, obviously, it's you guys, and it's almost like week 1 has been thrown out a little bit for certain things. And yeah, I mean, they're going to get in for sure. It's Alabama. They're going to get in, but that'd be an interesting resume to discuss too, a little bit, but comparing the common opponents and everything.
Tell me if I understand this correctly, but if Miami doesn't play in the ACC championship game, they essentially need to be ranked in the
10.
top 10
Correct.
because like the 11th spot will go to the ACC champion and the 12th spot will go to the G.
Group of 5. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so I mean, there's been a lot of chaos this year in college football. So like there could be more losses on the docket that free up that path for Miami. But what were they at 15 coming into this week, and now they'll probably move
15.
up a couple spots. So like it's still in the
There's a
realm of
chance.
possibility for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. But that Oklahoma win kind of yesterday wasn't good for us by any means. So we'll see. We gotta see what happens.
Big win for them.
Last rapid fire. Obviously, Florida State 5-5 been a disaster season. They finished the season last 2 games on the road as well as Miami, at NC State next week, and then at Florida the following week in the Swamp. Florida could have very well beat Ole Miss last night. That was a very close game. I watched it. They also had Georgia on the rope, so Florida is not a walk in the park even with an interim coach. So Anthony, we'll start with you. How do you see the Noles finishing out the regular season?
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be 2 L's, dude. Carter Finley is a house of horrors for us, regardless of day, time, whether the fair's there or not. Friday nights don't go good for us. Carter Finley don't go good for us. So I think it's the recipe for disaster for us next Friday night. We also haven't won an away game in 2 years. So forgive me if I don't have confidence in us being the same team that we are at Doak when we're not at Doak. So I think we lose to NC State. I think that we've seen that our defense has a problem stopping the run at times, like we did through most of the first half last night. And I think Florida will be able to run the ball on us if they want to, and Tony doesn't stack the box. We know Florida's going to get up for that game. So again, just because it's on the road and we just can't win on the road, I think we're going to drop both, man, unfortunately.
So you have the Noles finishing 5-7, missing a bowl game. Jordan, how do you see the Noles finishing the year?
Yeah, same. There's no reason to predict that they win a road game just based on what we've seen. Like Anthony said, the fact that the NC State game is a Friday night, like I don't think NC State is even that good, but it's just Friday night and we never play well at NC State and Carter Finley. So that one, I think, definitely not feeling good about. And then I was watching Florida last night too, and aside from the Kentucky game last week, Florida like fights, in these games, and it's a rivalry at the Swamp. So, we're going to finish 5-7, which means that against Power 4 teams this year, we'd finish 3-7, just completely unacceptable. And start moving on. And last comment, I know we had talked about the coaching thing. I don't necessarily think we're late to the party. Like I'm okay. Like we haven't seen any hires happening. So I'm assuming that Florida State is doing their due diligence in the background. You don't need to fire a coach to talk to agents and start, having these conversations. So I would assume and hope that they've been already having these conversations with agents, seeing what, who's available and what the options are. I'm assuming they've already been working on that. And I would anticipate the Sunday after Thanksgiving, after the Florida game, to be a press conference relieving Mike of his duties.
I hope you're right, because maybe that'd be a quick, clean transition for us, right? Where we announce that he's gone and we announce our new coach within a couple of days, keep that window short. I'd love it, but I think we're both giving a little bit more credit to this administration than they kind of deserve right now.
Signing day also 4 days after that.
Yeah.
So
4 days after.
yeah, that's the last thought on that. Is like I don't know. It's a little bit like conniving to kind of go about it that route, but I think technically they could wait until after signing day, fire him the next day, and then essentially those players can't like enter the portal until 5 days after the new head coach is hired. So I think it's a little bit like that's not good faith to be doing that type of thing. But technically,
it's definitely not.
It's not good faith.
Not at
it's
all.
not
Not
good.
at
It's not a good faith thing. But like technically,
Hey, sign on this paper real quick.
yeah, but those players have the ability to leave.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't really change much for them if you everything else moves quickly, and then at least that way. I don't anticipate them to do that because that seems kind of scummy to do. But like to fire like 3 or 5 days, whatever, before signing day is also like, just asking to, hurt yourselves too. So it's a bad situation regardless, but you just got to rip the Band-Aid and let the new guy come in and start building his pipeline.
And most of these high school kids have some type of representation now. They'd be like, yo, like we all saw what happened. They're about to fire this guy. Don't sign at Florida State.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a different world now with that regard too.
And lastly, Rolly, you see them losing out too to at NC State at Florida as well?
Yeah, I didn't realize the NC State game was the one right before Florida, and I think NC State's going to bounce back. I actually think NC State's a lot better than what we showed they were yesterday. I mean, they beat Virginia at the beginning of the year. They had a dominating performance against Georgia Tech a couple weeks ago, and maybe it was coming off the bye and they were a little slow, but I just think we had a really good game. But I actually think they're a better team than you're giving them credit for, Jordan, and I think they're probably going to beat you guys at home, and I'm really high on Florida. I mean, I've been high on Florida the entire year. I think that defense is comparable to ours, one of the elite units defensively, and I think they're going to shut you guys down. So yeah, I unfortunately I see 2 losses to close out the year, and Mike probably getting relieved of his duties shortly after that, unfortunately.
So Florida right now sits at 3-7. They have Tennessee this week. They'll probably be 3-8. That Florida State game will be, are they going to be 3-9 or 4-8? Obviously, not a big deal, but interesting nonetheless. All right, guys, fun having you guys on today. Thanks a lot for joining. Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.
Later. Go Noles.
Go Noles. Later, boys.
Later, dudes.
Later.